Hello scrappers and planet lovers, Tin Man here with another video. So the other day I was out scrapping on garbage day and I noticed in the distance a fellow scrapper who decided instead of picking this up, just proceeded to cut the electric wire off of it, take that, and leave the rest of this. And although the electric wire is a great score, it's about $1 a pound right now, and if you collect the precious metals, there is at the end of it some gold prongs, which are gold-plated prongs. But this too is a great score. The nice thing about a computer monitor like this, just like the older style TVs, I could bring this in as is and get electronic weight price. Currently it's about 5 to 8 pounds Canadian, and this is very heavy. As is, this is about 36 pounds. However, before I do that, I do want to open it up and take out the copper inside. There's always a really nice copper bell. There's a circuit board that has some nice copper on it and some silver from the relay boxes. There is always a copper cord that goes around the tube. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how to identify, sort the metals, and more importantly, how to maximize your profit and divert this away from the landfill. So here we go. The first thing, this was a little bit hard to get off the backing. Sometimes there has screws. This one had a couple of screws that they seem to have been rusted in place, so I just used a hammer and just popped both sides of it. The nice thing is this comes off, and if I was not bringing the rest of this monitor in, this unfortunately would go into the trash. However, because I am going to put it back on and take the rest of it back in after I take the copper out, I can leave that plastic on there and the scrap yards will ship it off to the proper place and it will be processed properly. The next layer that you have is this metallic cover, and the thing about this is this could either be steel, it could be aluminum, it could be stainless steel, just from the color. So the first thing I want to do to identify this metal is put a magnet to it. If the magnet sticks, which it doesn't, this would be tin. And again, it'd be tin because the thickness of this, but it does not stick to this, so this is not tin. So this is either going to be stainless steel or aluminum. And the next test you want to do to see what metal it is, in my opinion, called the spark test. If I was to take a grinder and just touch this, aluminum is not going to spark. If this is stainless steel, there is going to be some sparks. So I'm just going to take my grinder, quickly show you. So as you can see, there are no sparks on this. So this is aluminum, and this is not heavy. This is, maybe 3 or 4 ounces. The nice thing is I just bunch it up into a ball, easy to store. And clean aluminum as this is, will be going right now for about 40 to 50 cents a pound. If this did spark and it was stainless steel right now is going for about 75 cents a pound, depending on region, but that is right now in Ontario, London, Ontario. So this is aluminum. As you can see now, I do have the opening, and before you actually start taking this TV or computer monitor apart, the first thing you have to do is make sure it no longer holds a charge. There is always, when you open these or the old TV style tubes, a red cable, and I have already cut it for the sake of this video. But before you start tampering with one of these, you do want to make sure you cut that. If not, you could get a shock from this and potentially hurt yourself. So again, I just take a rubberized handled pair of pliers, I will cut it, and now it will not hold a charge, so it is safe to handle. As you can see, here is my beautiful copper yoke. There is some really nice copper there. There is a circuit board on here. And for some reason, I have seen some people actually break the cap off this to release the air out of the TV or the computer monitor, and you don't have to do that. So I can actually take this entire bell off without damaging the rest of this glass. And there is always 2 screws, so I first have to get these screws out. All right, and the nice thing is, these are just like little clamps. I use these if they're in good working condition. There are 2 of them on here. So that's the first thing I do need to get off. And there are usually also, there's one on the bottom here. You got to make sure that you get both of them. There it is. There's opened. And there usually are some plastic prongs on here. Sometimes these will just come off. If you see, I just twisted them off. Sometimes there's a little glue. You might have to put some type of screwdriver under it to release them. But these are plastic garbage. Now that I have my clamp off, the nice thing is I can just twist this bell. And all I'll do is just to release the glue. There's always glue attached to that. Pull it up. And cut this off. And I can feel just from this that this is very heavy, which is great. A nice score. Look at all the copper in there. It's a copper yoke. There is some copper on that. And this is going to be classified once I break this open, and I'm going to do it in a minute, as number 2 copper. Currently, number 2 copper right now is going for $4.68 a pound Canadian, which is a great price. And again, in order to do that, I cannot throw this in as is. I have to break this off. This is kind of a magnetic core, if you will. I just break it off with the hammer, and I will put this, because it is magnetic, I will put this into my steel pile, so I still get money for that. When I do open these up, I'm going to use safety glasses. Oh, there's a nice circuit board that has a nice spool of copper. It all adds up, so I am going to make sure I put that in my number 2 as well. I also have, and I do want to show this to the camera because my dad never finds these, but I get them all the time. As you can see around this monitor, there is a black wire here, and very recognizable. It's black. It's like it's wound in tape. And I'm first just going to cut that. It's usually connected by a couple prongs. Again, I'm sorry, Dad, that I'm picking on you, but every time my dad takes apart one of these TVs, I ask him, hey, did you find the coil? And he always says no. So I don't know his luck. Maybe he's getting all the weird TVs. I don't know, but sorry, Pop. So, gonna open this up. Now, unfortunately, some of these will be aluminum. Some of these are copper. So it's a 50-50 chance. And depending on the size of the TV, they are some thicker than others. But the best way to tell, again, I'm gonna take my pair of pliers, and I'm just gonna cut this in half. I'm gonna look at the metal inside. As you can see, that is copper inside. So this entire wire is copper. And I can throw this into actually my, 40% copper recovery as is, which is currently going for, 60% copper recovery, so there's only one layer of plastic. Currently going for $2.13 a pound. But I'm actually gonna take this wire off, or the tape off. Very easy, I'm just actually going to run it through my stripper. Another easy way, if you do not have a wire stripper, is actually just taking a knife or an X-Acto knife and just actually going down the edge on one side. The nice thing is once you start opening it, you'll be able to slide the copper right out of it. So with a little bit of work, I'm gonna upgrade this from $2.13 a pound to $4.68 because it will be clean aluminum, which will be great, or sorry, clean copper. If I was to cut this open and it was to reveal a metallic inner side, unfortunately, that means that this wire would be aluminum. And unfortunately, if it's aluminum, it's not worth stripping. I just take it and I will put it into my dirty aluminum pile and get about 5 to 10 cents a pound for it. But as I said, one test, look inside, it is copper, so definitely worth keeping. I also have right back here a really nice circuit board, and I'm just gonna open that up. The nice thing about these circuit boards, as you can see here, I'm just gonna take a magnet to it. I have right here a nice aluminum heat sink. So this aluminum heat sink is gonna go for about 40 to 50 cents a pound. This one is aluminum as well. Here is a nice transformer inside. I'm looking around. There are a couple relay boxes right here that are gonna have a spool of copper in it. Here is another spool of copper, and even those I open up. So all I'm gonna do is just take a pair of pliers, There's another one right here that I'm also going to get, because the nice thing about these is the copper is definitely worth taking apart. So there's another copper spool. And I love these ones. They're very easy to get. There is metal around this, so as I said, I'm just going to put it back on this computer and get the weight for it. But I do want to show this spool. Very simple to pop out. As you can see, every little bit adds up. So these, and I know a lot of people that don't take these off the circuit boards, but I do, and all I do is to break it open, take a little hammer, and I will just very easily unwind it. And all I do is I will take this copper and I put it into a bag, and again, it adds up very quickly as number 2 copper. This is going to be magnetic, so this goes into my tin pile. But I take all my copper off. And again, once I get that off, it'll be in the bin. The heat sinks as well. There are some great aluminum heat sinks on here. There's another spool of copper. These heat sinks, great source of aluminum. And the nice thing about them is if they are grooved, they are classified as extrusion. So this entire bag is actually heat sinks from circuit boards. So as you can see, different ones, different sizes, but this currently right now is at an all-time high price. It's about $1.60 a pound, which is awesome. So any type of aluminum that has the grooves in it, looks like it's been run through a press. These from circuit boards are definitely worth taking apart. As I said, $1.50 a pound. I'm gonna make a lot more money separating that stuff than if I was to take this circuit board off and sell it by itself. This circuit board would actually be classified, if I was to take this off and bring it into the scrapyard, would be classified as low-grade circuit board, and that's because there is really not a lot of precious metals on here. And again, it depends on your scrapyards. Some scrapyards will divide them up into low grade, medium grade, high grade, and give you higher value for the ones that are gold, more gold. So something like this. This comes off of a flat screen TV. There is the gold on there. So this would be a high grade. Unfortunately, however, the scrapyard I go to does not separate it. So all of these, depending on, no matter what is on them, they are all going to be classified as circuit boards. It's about 5 cents a pound. So in my opinion, way better separating the aluminum and the copper. I'm going to get way more money for those. So you definitely want to check with your scrapyard and look. As I said, some relay boxes here. These 2 boxes are plastic. They are going to have a silver contact in it. And I just actually took one apart. And as you can see, inside of it, there will be a little dot like that. That dot is silver, so I just put that into a little vial. And there's also a spool of copper in there. A very little spool, but it all adds up. So definitely want to make sure I get those off. I don't get any of the capacitors off here. There are, again, a couple spools, a couple small transformers. These transformers I will leave on because I don't see a lot of copper in them, but it will add up in price. But again, there's some really nice spools of copper that I am going to make sure I get off before I take this back in. As well, there are these prongs. These prongs you can see here, they're always holding in a aluminum heatsink. These are also copper, so I do take those off as well. Okay, and if you scratch them, they do have a little bit of copper. But that is the rest of this I am not going to touch. There are usually some screws in the end here, so this is going to go back together. But I am going to break this open for this video. So all I'm going to do, very simple. One of my greatest pieces of equipment in my arsenal is my hammer. All I'm going to do is bash it. So there's actually a nice ring right here of copper. I just want to open that just to show you. Watch this. So just going to cut this ring. And they don't all have it, but voila, here's some beautiful copper. And before someone says that looks like Bare Bright copper only pertains to wire that is thicker than 16 gauge. Because this is very fine individual strands, this is all going to be number 2. But again, no matter, I just collect it all. I'll put it in this bag here. I already have a bag collected, so it's adding up quickly, and $4.68 a pound Canadian. I'm not going to complain. This I'm just going to continue to break. So just with my hammer. definitely want to make sure I wear safety glasses. Okay, and just keep smashing it. The nice thing is, these pieces, as I said, go into my tin pile. Easy to collect after. Just take a magnet. Want to break it. There it is, coming up. Okay, definitely want to get this circuit board. Take it off as well. Make sure I cut off the strands of wire. Get the strands of copper as well. These individual wires here, these also add up. This is going to be my 60% copper wire recovery, so I throw those into a bin as well. And again, $2.13 a pound. Okay, so once I break it open, I have two really nice pieces of the yoke right there. And this, again, will go into my number 2. It doesn't matter if there's a little bit of tape on here because number 2 copper always has tape. It could have paint on it. It could have soldering. So it's okay if there's a little bit of plastic or something on it. Not too much, but they're not going to say anything with a little bit of residual like that. Okay. As well, the inner core here, I'm just going to continue breaking it. This is plastic, but get this out. There it is. Okay, breaking the plastic. Here are 2 more beautiful copper strands. And I love to call these things money bells because, like I said, great source of copper. All in all, I've probably got here, once I add this together, this is probably 11 to 12 ounces, almost a pound of copper, which is great. Adding this into it as well, I probably have a pound of copper. So definitely more money than I'm gonna get from just taking in this computer monitor. I am gonna, once I get the things off of here that I want, like this cord, this is gonna go into my 60% copper recovery. I do leave this on here, but I am gonna take the aluminum heat sinks off. This doesn't have much in here, but this, if I put a magnet to it, you can see it sticks. So this is tin, but I will leave this on here for weight and close it back up and bring it in. And it's probably gonna now weigh about 34 pounds once I put it back together. Still gonna get the price for the monitor. And as I said, important that it is no longer going to the landfill. Very easy to do. Again, hopefully the person that drove by this will think twice next time, but I appreciate it for leaving it to me because I enjoy picking up the copper as well. Please comment down below. Hope you enjoyed the video. Like, share, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Tin Man out.